17th of November 1905, a 13-year-old boy named Harold William Purchase dies tragically during an operation in an upstairs bedroom of the hotel. He had been ill for several weeks, and Dr. E.W. Morris decided an operation was necessary to remove a large abscess from his lower spine. Dr. F.S. Benham would assist Morris with the procedure. Harold was the son of John Purchase, who was the landlord of the Rosewater Hotel at the time, and was also present for the operation. Just after 10 a.m, young Harold would be administered chloroform by Dr. Benham. During this period of the 1900s, chloroform was used as anaesthetic, and it would be this dosage of chloroform that would lead to Harold's death. The matter was reported to police, resulting in a coroner's inquest at the hotel the next day. Details of the coroner's inquest show that Harold took the chloroform very well, but was slow in getting under its influence. Dr. Morris proceeded with the operation, but the patient winced immediately. Dr. Morris desisted and administered some more chloroform. The operation was then proceeded with, but had to be stopped almost immediately as young Harold's breathing suddenly ceased. They succeeded in reviving the boy, and he breathed well for a minute or two, but then suddenly stopped again and expired. The city coroner made a post-mortem examination of the deceased and attributed the cause of death to incomplete anaesthesia, initiating shock from being completely aware of the operation that was being performed on him. So in this case, instead of being an accidental overdose of chloroform, it was an incomplete dose. And the following moments that unfolded for young Harold Purchase would be something that no one would want to experience or endure at any period of time, ever. So does this hotel hold the restless spirit of a 13-year-old boy, still wandering in torment over the last helpless moments of his life? The Rosewater Hotel was made known to Justin and I through a work colleague of ours. He visits the pub occasionally and has heard the bar staff talk about some strange things that have been happening upstairs. Night manager Victoria explained to us that nearly every time that she has had to go up into this upstairs area, she has felt a presence around her when there's been no one else up there with her. Victoria says it's the old bathroom area that's the most disturbing to her, and she will not go upstairs now unless it's absolutely necessary for her to do so. Other staff members, both current and past, have had the sensation of both being watched and followed, and even heard the rantings of an Asian woman at the top of these stairs, as if they were almost not welcome to come up. So just who or what is up here causing the disturbances, and how many of them are up here? Is it young Harold Purchase, stuck in the veil between our world and the afterlife? Whoever it is, whoever they are, we are up to the task to try and find out. I have a feeling you're down this end. Does the name Harold Purchase mean anything to you? And bang. Could this old pub be holding on to the residual energies of its past? Could it be keeping lost souls from times that have now been forgotten? Could the tragic circumstances of a young boy's death be enough for his spirit to be remained suspended in limbo, a state of confusion, unwilling or unknowing how to pass over? Will we find the spirit of young Harold William Purchase? Cheltenham Cemetery lies on the edge of Port Road and Cheltenham Parade. It was established in 1876 and is one of the largest cemeteries in South Australia. As the only official and documented death associated with the Rosewater Hotel and my research, I made it my mission to locate the grave of Harold Purchase. After familiarising myself with the circumstances surrounding Harold's death and learning more about his extended family, I felt drawn to go and find his grave, to get more of a connection, considering it would be his spirit we'd be trying to contact in our investigation. There are quite extensive cemetery records available online, and it wasn't that difficult to find an exact location of Harold's grave. Armed with the site location of Drive C, Section J, Path 4, site number 92S, it seemed it would be a straightforward task to just walk in and find the grave. But I was wrong. As I was walking up Path 4, it occurred to me that this section looked quite new, and that none of the graves were predating 1954, 50 years after Harold's death in 1905, which had me thinking I was either in the wrong section or the records were incorrect. And here we are, at the exact location provided by the cemetery records, and much to my disappointment/confusion, there's a relatively new grave, only 10 years old. Going back and having a closer inspection of site records, I was able to uncover something I didn't previously. I was indeed in the correct location of Harold William Purchase's grave. On this closer inspection, it now shows the name that I was confronted with on the headstone when I approached the grave. Wuzzle Shamerowicz now appears with 3 other Purchase family members at the bottom of the page under the site records. I do a site search for Wuzzle Shamerowicz just to double check, and sure enough, that name is found in exactly the same gravesite, also confirming at the bottom of the page to be Harold's grave and 3 of his family members: his father John, his mother Esther Isabella, and his older sister Elizabeth Eleanor. But that's not it. I was able to find that there's actually a 5th member of the Purchase family buried in this grave, and that is of his other older sister of the same name as his mother, Esther Isabella, who died only 4 years after Harold in 1909 at the age of 27. Some of you may have worked out that this is possible due to the reuse of burial sites after they have expired. This is done by carefully lowering the grave and the remains of the original occupants of the site and removing their headstone to make way for a new burial above. It is unclear whether the Purchase family had a family plot or one by one they were added into Harold's grave when their graves expired, as Harold was the first to be buried into the Cheltenham Cemetery. I would conclude that it was a family plot due to the fact that all grants issued before October 1946 were of a 99-year lease, and all after 1946 were of a 50-year lease. So with Harold's burial in 1905 with a 99-year lease would take it up to the year 2004. Then add on the 2-year period that the cemetery has time to contact relatives to try and get a renewal of the grave, which in this case would have been unsuccessful. Some people view this as disrespectful and erasing history, and indeed as you look across this section of the Cheltenham Cemetery, you do see a wave of new history wiping out the landscape of the old history. Headstone or no headstone, I was able to find the grave of young Harold, which was my main objective, and to be able to pay my respects to him and his family. I'll admit I was a little disturbed to find that they are buried beneath someone else with no headstone. The Rosewater Hotel first started trading way back in 1868, and the original part of the building is the part to the left that's jutting out from the part to the right. As you look around Rosewater, there are other old shop fronts that are reminders of that time period. The rich history of Port Adelaide's hard-working docklands and industrial area merges directly into Rosewater's industrial area. Port Adelaide is also renowned for its paranormal activity. We are the first team to investigate the Rosewater Hotel. Will we uncover things that put Rosewater into the same category as Port Adelaide? Before we get into the investigations, it is important that we analyse the electromagnetic frequencies in the area we will be investigating, as high EMF can be the cause of anomalies that are not paranormal. On the other hand, it is possible that it has the ability to give strength and even enhance those things that are paranormal. I'm going to do an EMF sweep. See the readings because they are pretty high in here. Goes through the roof here because that thing is a power board. Something to do with this wall. Could be that hot water service out there. It's Grand Junction Road out there. Unfortunately, it's quite noisy, and that light, floodlight, it shines back on the hotel, comes in here. This little intersection of the hallways is quite high as well because we're right near the power board. This is down the end. Okay, let's take a bird's eye view of the second level of the Rosewater Hotel. As you can see from that walk around, the EMF levels are quite high in some areas, and even extreme in a couple of places, where that power board and hot water service was. These coloured circles indicate the EMF levels corresponding to the key to the left. You can see the two red circles which represent the power board and the hot water service. And the old bathroom area at the back, or at the bottom of the screen, actually has a 0 baseline reading. There were a few other little spikes in the accommodation area to the left, but nothing that was anywhere near as high as the power board or the hot water service. The level of EMF up here is higher than usual, but regardless of the baseline level, it's the fluctuations in that level that indicate disturbances and possibly paranormal activity. For this first night's investigation, there was 4 of us ready to take on the unknown. We have myself, Paul, psychic medium Paula, Justin, and Justin's partner Kate, who assists us with investigations and wishes to remain off camera. We start things off by walking around from room to room to try and get a feel for the energy and let our mind and senses adapt and settle into the environment around us. And as it's our first time working with a psychic medium, we let Paula give her accounts of what she's picking up on.
Very scared, very depressed, very lots of emotion going on over there because she's actually literally in a fetal position in that corner over there. Mm. So we might sort of come in here and have a chat to her and see how we can help her get out of that fetal position.
Interestingly enough, we did have a little spike in the EMF levels during the walk-around sweep of this room. This was higher than any other room of this accommodation wing.
Rocking.
Old lady.
No, she's young. A lot of stomach. I would even go to say my stomach's starting to really hurt, so I would even go to say,
Pregnant.
I don't know, it's just she's in a fetal position and she's rocking. She's scared, like she's in pain in her stomach. She's in severe pain, like my stomach's starting to go really, really sore. So in here, where is the male? Over here somewhere. He's not really giving me any specifics at the moment. But he's 28.
This far end room in the accommodation wing was once an accommodation room, but has since been used as an office of some sort. As you heard, Paula picked up on a male energy in this room, and this room would become quite a hotspot.
Like it feels like something's tied around my neck, but on the way down here I kept seeing a rope the whole time, kept on seeing the noose. And then when I was out there before I got it again, and then I'm in this room, but it's not in this room. It's out in the hallway. But it's this guy that's done it.
For Paula, this was a cold reading in which she had no prior information on the hotel. She actually picked up on a young boy down in the bathroom area. Now to me, this was of much intrigue, as Justin and I were aware of the death of Harold Purchase in this hotel. We decided to go down to this spare room in the bathroom area and conduct a seance and EVP session to try and contact this young boy.
So the name you're giving me is Benjamin, is that right?
Chills.
Pardon? You just got chills?
Yeah.
So that's confirmation.
How long have you been here for?
Listen again closely for a child's voice.
How long have you been here for?
It sounds like the reply of why.
How long have you been here for?
None of us heard this reply at the time.
How long have you been here for?
So the name you're giving me is Benjamin, is that right?
She's picking up on a boy's name, Benjamin.
Chills.
Justin indicates he just received body chills.
You just got chills.
Then Kate asks the direct question.
How long have you been here for?
This voice is clear, close, and distinctly childlike, and it is responding to a direct question. None of us heard this at the time. As you can see, none of us react. No children are allowed in the hotel at this hour. This is a true electronic voice phenomenon.
How long have you been here for? How long have you been here for?
How many spirits are up here with us? Upstairs here. Can you count how many?
Do you get lonely up here, or do you have company? Are there other people that are around you other than us?
Oh, as soon as you were talking, it went right to orange lights. That's only since you were talking.
So keep talking.
How long have you been up here? If spirits are in another dimension, they may not always have the energy to vibrate the air molecules in our dimension for us to hear a sound, but their responses may still be carried through the radio waves. This device we're about to use is a device that can capture those responses. Are there other people other than us up here?
I reckon you need the other box up.
This is what we call a spirit box. It's basically an AM/FM radio. -1 wire, but it enables you to communicate to us through this. I can turn it on and you can try if you like.
We're just curious about you. We want to know more about you. Just communicate as if you were trying to speak to us. The device is there to only pick up your frequencies, your energy. Your energy will come through the box. The box is there for us to be able to hear you. The box is there for us to be able to hear you. Again, a child's voice is picked up, this time through the spirit box, and Justin clearly indicates it straight after. This voice is loud and abrupt, and it jumps out way more than radio chatter does. And what are the chances that a boy would be talking on the radio at this time of night? To me, it sounds like 2. This spare room in the bathroom area provided no spikes in EMF levels during our sweep, but certainly seems to be providing some activity for us. The reality is we do sometimes hear voices from patrons downstairs, but they are muffled and faint. They're not crisp like this child's voice we heard. We are in the room to the left of this window, protected by brick walls and flooring. Let's listen again to what we have captured in this room.
So the name you're giving me is Benjamin, is that right?
Chills.
Pardon? You just got chills?
Yeah.
So that's confirmation.
How long have you been here for?
The box is there for us to be able to hear you. Just before we started the seance, we set up a static night vision camera in the end room of this accommodation wing. This is where Paula felt she picked up on a male energy. While we were conducting the seance, the camera picked up a couple of interesting anomalies. Let's have a look. I had also placed a motion sensor on one of the small benches in this room, facing towards the door. This motion sensor starts going off just as the outside light of the hotel starts flickering and turns off. As the sensor is going off, we don't capture anything visually on the camera, although strange clicking noises can be heard. And only minutes after this, we capture a light anomaly, which happens straight after some sort of little whispering noise. Dust and even bugs can appear as orbs on camera, but this one seems to appear out of nowhere and head straight out the door. First you hear a whisper, then as the orb appears you hear another clicking noise. The Ovilus is an experimental communication device. It takes multiple readings of the environment, which places a numeric value onto those readings, which then corresponds to a word that's programmed into its database. As we make our way back down from the seance towards the end room and the camera, I am holding the Ovilus in my left hand. Listen closely as we approach the doorway, further showing that this end room is a real hotspot.
Sacrifice, sense, fight, flow, swear.
That was pretty full on.
Sacrifice? What did it say? Sacrifice? I'll sit on
I
the
missed the
bench.
first two. Fight, blow, square, sacrifice.
I'm assuming we can sit on that bench.
This was pretty full on. Do you know There was one certain area down at Mount Compass where this was like, and as soon as we came in here, we got that onslaught. About 6 words in a row as soon as I walked in here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it said
Aggressive words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fight, sacrifice. I can't remember. It should be on the log somewhere. As I mentioned, the Ovilus is an experimental communication device, and it can be random as it reads the environmental changes, but its timing and accuracy of specifics can be chillingly beyond coincidence. We now set up to try and contact the male energy felt in this room.
Or even you can speak through the box like I think that you already have.
This box right here I'm holding, this will be able to give us an indication of you speaking to us, so feel free to talk through this box here. We'll talk near it and we'll be able to hear you.
For example, can you say your name?
Robert. Right on cue.
Straight away.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. Now let's watch again, but keep your eyes on the EMF meter on the table, the one with the LED lights on it. This meter starts peaking out just as Justin's asking the question, further adding proof that there was an increase in EMF levels after our encouragement for a response, and specifically Justin's question.
For example, can you say your name?
Robert. Right on cue.
Straight away.
This box right here I'm holding, this will be able to give us an indication of you speaking to us, so feel free to talk through this box here. We'll talk near it and we'll be able to hear you.
For example, can you say your name?
Robert. Right on cue.
Straight away.
First, Paula senses a male's energy in this room. Then we get given a man's name after a direct question. But it doesn't stop there. Watch what unfolds next.
What's your favourite band, Robert?
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes.
What was it made for?
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes. Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes.
What was it made for?
As you can hear, there is a clear response to my question, and it sounds male. Myself, Paula, and Justin heard this response then and there. It is important to note that Kate was toward the end of this hallway with an EMF meter, taking still shots. To our ears at the time, it sounded like a deep voice saying no, but after hearing it through the video analysis, it sounds more like a yes. It's definitely a one-syllable response. Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes.
What was it made for?
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes. What was that?
What was it made for?
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes. What was that?
What was it made for?
As you can hear, it was picked up clearly by both the static night vision camera and the handheld full spectrum camera. And there is no doubt that it came from just behind Justin somewhere, in the hallway or either in the room adjacent to the hallway. Amazingly, Kate did not hear this, and she swears that she did not make this response, as you will see in a few moments. She also could not exactly hear what we were saying and doing at that time, but knew we were doing a session with the spirit box. There was no doubt this voice was upstairs with us, and it sounded close. It sounded almost like a voice that was within a box, but very close to us. The human behaviour before and after moments like this are crucial to prove the authenticity of what just took place. So we will let the whole sequence unfold as it was recorded. To respect Kate's privacy, I will use the footage from the static night vision camera.
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes.
What was a male's voice?
Was that you, Kate? Did you say something? Before? When I said, was that you, Kate?
That was a male's voice.
That was deep.
That was a deep voice.
Did she go, no? I thought she was like
I heard
taking
it.
yes.
I heard it too.
No, that was a male's voice.
Did you hear something there?
It was deep, like no.
Yeah, it was a male.
Was that you?
Did you take that yes out of the pot? When I said, can you give us a really loud yes, did you go, no?
That's why I thought there was something. It came from out here.
I thought, so you didn't go, no.
Yeah. I heard it.
No, we all very like a no. And if you take this out, it's a loud yes. Kate said she didn't say that.
That was a definite male no.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We all heard that.
Yeah.
And that was a real male
So
voice.
you're
It was a
positive,
deep-
Kate, that you didn't do
I
it?
can't believe you didn't
I
hear
didn't
it.
do it.
Because it came from down there.
It came from just
It came
there.
from out
Yeah,
there.
or
It came
behind
from out
me.
there,
Yeah,
behind
definitely.
you.
I was down the corridor and down the other bit, you know, where I saw
And it
I
wasn't
heard
on the
that
ghost box, it was just
It
around
was a
the
male's
corner.
voice just there behind you. And it was a definite no.
But it did pick up 5 lights up near that cupboard.
As you can see, all three of us in this end room heard this voice in real time, and there was only 4 of us upstairs, including Kate. So because of the closeness of this voice and the fact that it was a male's voice, we can categorise this as a Class A EVP, which means we all heard it in real time and it was a direct response to a question. We continued to try and make contact in this end room with more questions for another 45 minutes to an hour, but we were unsuccessful. By this time it was just on 1 AM, so we decided to gather our equipment and call it a night. Let's just have another quick look at what we did capture during these 3.5 hours.
Sacrifice. Sex. Fight. Flow. Swear.
It was pretty. Talk near it and we'll be able to hear you.
For example, can you say your name?
Robert. Right on cue.
Straight away.
Robert, are you able to give us a yes if you can hear us? A really loud yes.
That was a male's voice.
Chills.
You just got chills.
Yeah.
So that's confirmation.
How long have you been here for?
The box is there for us to be able to hear you. As you can see from these clips, we have captured some very interesting sequences. Instruments reacting and being set off can give great clues to suggest that something paranormal may be happening, but it's the things like electronic voice phenomena that can be considered more profound and used as credible evidence. So I would say in this case, the man's voice that we all heard and the child's voice that was later picked up in video analysis would be our two strongest pieces of evidence. In saying that, the timing of our instruments reacting in regards to the direct questions we were asking is something of high importance and cannot be ignored. They are all vital pieces of the puzzle which help us to try and determine what is unfolding around us. As we were the first team to investigate this hotel, there is so much more history that may be forgotten and not documented, like the death of young Harold Purchase. And for this reason, you have to go in with an open mind and let the evidence take you on twists and turns and point you in new directions. And when using a psychic medium, as we did with Paula, you have to incorporate what they are picking up on as well. Not all deaths in buildings are documented in a way that can be easily accessed through research. For an example, suicides tend not to make the news and therefore can be easily forgotten or not even known about. And indeed, the Rosewater does have a story of an unconfirmed suicide of a man upstairs. Current manager Simon was informed when he took over the pub that a man did commit suicide upstairs. This seems to have been passed down through staff members over the years. The only details of the man's death was that it was upstairs and in the old bathroom. There are two bathrooms, but it was clear that it was in the old bathroom. Because there is no record or documentation of this suicide, we cannot treat it as the absolute truth, but we can use it as additional information for our investigations. And as we saw earlier, Paula suggested that the male energy that she was picking up on was a suicide, but died of a hanging. So does the man's voice we caught on audio belong to this male energy? And is this male energy that of the suicide, which has been passed down over the years through the staff members? Is the young boy's voice we caught on audio and through the spirit box that of Harold Purchase? And who is the female in the fetal position in one of the accommodation rooms? These are the questions we are presented with, and now have to follow up and try and solve. On this night, it was just Paula and myself who returned to this mysterious, unused second level of the Rosewater Hotel. And as this is our first follow-up investigation, we are anticipating and hoping to find out more from what we experienced on the first night. I have mounted a night vision camera which shoots visible light and infrared, and a full spectrum one which captures visible light, infrared and UV light. We start off in the old accommodation wing, in the room where Paula felt she picked up on a young woman who was in pain holding her stomach. Paula had visions of her rocking back and forth in the corner. Let's have a look at the millimeters readings when I do the sweep in this room. As I mentioned earlier, we did have a significant spike in this room. Watch how the millimeter cannot settle onto a baseline reading. This makes for an interesting correlation to what Paula has felt and sensed in this room. We use the millimeter and the ovilus as we sit in this room trying to contact this woman. Watch what happens.
I see you in that corner and you are curled up in like a fetal position holding your stomach. Is that because of violence? Maybe just touch the antennae to give us a yes or a no.
That's actually the battery alert. This was not the proximity aerial being touched, but the battery alert signal. This was a fresh Duracell 9-volt battery, so by rights it should be nowhere near going flat at this stage. Sudden and unexplained battery drainage is not uncommon while investigating, and this may suggest that something or someone is drawing the power out of these batteries. Does the close proximity of a spirit in another dimension, or one even in our own dimension that we cannot see, have the ability to draw accessible energy from something like a battery? Paranormal investigators often encourage spirits to use them as an accessible energy source to draw off. This can also happen naturally when two energy fields interact. This can be felt as chills or a cold sensation, perhaps as a byproduct of briefly transferring energy. So is that what happened to the Melmeter right here? I'm not convinced that spirits can deliberately target batteries within devices. I think it's a reaction from being encouraged to touch the devices or even being drawn to the lights on the devices. There's then a drainage or a short out of power from the two electrical fields interacting. Or another possibility is that humans and batteries carry an electrical aura that is easily detected by spirits, which draws them towards us. And we either feel it as a cold spot or chills, and the battery is obviously affected by being drained. So is this what's taking place here? Did the woman respond to Paula's request to go up and touch the device? Only a few moments after this, the Ovilus reacts and speaks some words that could be relevant to another thing that Paula asked. That's actually the battery alert.
Norman, son, describe.
Norman, son, describe. Paula had clearly asked if the woman was holding her stomach due to violence. Could these three words of Norman, son, describe be telling us that she perhaps miscarried a son due to the violence from a man named Norman? We will most likely never know, but these are the type of things that you have to decipher when using the Ovilus. I turn off the Melmeter and we continue to try and make contact with the woman in this room, or whoever else is listening and watching.
Is there anyone here who would like to talk to us?
Paul and I are ready to communicate with you. You can speak through the words. You can even show yourself in an orb, or you can show yourself in an energy so that Paul can see you.
Think good.
Fate good.
Yeah, we're here to help you.
If you'd like to speak, actually speak with your voice, this little device in my hand will be able to hear you if you want to say it loudly. We've heard other spirits before, so if you want to say your name very loudly, we'll be able to hear it on this device.
Robert, are you still with us in the next room? Yes or a no?
With no more responses, we make our way to the end room, where again the Ovilus becomes very active as we approach.
Unlock. Bracelet.
Hello and welcome. We've come to say hello again. If you'd like to speak to us, my name's Paula, and this is Paul.
We were here about a month ago. We think we communicated with a Robert. If you can hear us talking, can you give us a very loud yes? We were here about 4 weeks ago, about a month ago. And we heard someone reply clearly after a question. Was that you?
Paul.
It was Paul.
After this incredible response by the Ovilus, we both get the feeling that there's something going on down in the bathroom area. So we grab the equipment and the cameras and we head down there.
Chills. Casket.
Are you down this end? I have a feeling you're down this end of the hotel. Are we able to come down here and say hello? Floor creaking, floor creaking. Door. I just heard a door. Footsteps. Door. I just heard a door. Footsteps. 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 Those voices are outside, I think. If that's picked up on the audio, I think those voices are outside. The floor creaking. I heard a door from in here.
Gas. Van.
Were you having trouble seeing through that viewfinder? Because I don't think any of these lights are on.
No, that's... I was just following you.
Oh, yeah, that's alright.
Watch the step. I did.
That was me falling down a step.
I did say watch the step. Benji, are you down with us? Are you still here?
something just rushed past me.
Benji, is that you?
Something just like rushed out of that room.
The one you're now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Benji.
I've
got chills.
unbelievable chills.
Yeah, me too.
It's like I was frozen.
Yeah,
I couldn't move.
yeah. My whole body's just gone frozen.
Flight. No.
I wasn't.
Do you not want me to come in here? Did you just rush up on me? There's noises outside.
Benji, remember it's safe with us. You didn't let me go into that room last time. I wasn't allowed to walk in there. But remember,
Hissing then.
remember it's safe with us. Benji, can you remember this?
Are we allowed to come in?
As I approached this door, I felt the sensation of something brushing past me. It may have been a subtle burst of air, but I'm not sure where it would have come from, as all the windows and doors are shut. Let's check the infrared and full spectrum cameras as I approach this door. Nothing was picked up by either camera, but this sensation I felt was real. Unfortunately, I can't prove what it was, or can I explain what it was.
Flight. No.
And then we got the emphatic pronunciation of the words spite and no. Is the ovilus picking up on a resonance that is one of angst and almost anger, telling us not to come into this room? This is the room where Paula felt she picked up on a boy named Benji. It is also the room where we caught the voice of a child, which sounded like a boy, on audio and through the spirit box. When we did enter this room, we set up an experiment with some more sensors and set the audio recorder and ovilus on the ground. We were encouraging the young boy to go up and touch the aerials on the sensors, but nothing seemed to have happened. With things seeming to go quiet, we headed back down to the end room to do a session with the spirit box. We stayed in here for roughly half an hour, but had nothing significant occur, and the energy felt like it had dropped completely.
Can you give us your name? We just want to communicate with you. It is safe. You can communicate with me, talk to me, but I'd like you to speak through this box. Tell me your name.
With no strong evidence captured on video or audio this time, we decided to pack up and go. We had no signs of the man we captured on the first night either. The millimeter draining so quickly in the accommodation room was interesting, and the energy that I felt rush past me down in the end room in the bathroom is something I can't explain and wish I had an answer for. Exactly a week later, Justin and I return with the intent on finding some more strong evidence. After following up the first night with psychic medium Paula and exploring a couple of the avenues that she picked up on, Justin and I felt it was time to refocus on the man from the first night, and particularly Harold Purchase as well, as the young boy we have heard may very well be him. As you may be more familiar with the hotel layout now, and our equipment and how we work, I will let the clips roll a bit more freely to help preserve the flow of the investigation and give you a sense of what we are experiencing. As you can see, we have set up more infrared night vision cameras. This is to cover more angles with both vision and audio. One being right here, looking straight down the end of the bathroom area. Another in the end accommodation room where we caught the man's voice, this time in the corner furthest from the door. A third one looking straight towards the stairwell and past the access point to the accommodation wing. And a fourth one which looks straight down the hallway towards the end room. That doorway we are at is where I sensed last week, like a gush of something coming out there.
Oh, really?
You know, like when a room's got two doors and you shut the door at one side,
Yeah.
you sort of get that wall, little bolt burst that comes out the other side.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Not as full on, but as if something rushed past. Is there a Harold with us right now? A Harry? Young boy?
This is the bathroom where the suicide happened.
Harold, are you in here? Do you know Victoria? Do you know who Victoria who works here with the long dark hair? Is the person who likes to give Victoria a hard time in here right now?
Is there anyone in here with us right now?
Another response. Direct K2 and response. Got it on film, man.
Can you tell us your name?
We appreciate you responding for us. Is this you, Robert?
Can you tell us how many spirits there are in here with us?
I'm going to point to this box on the table that's making the noise. If you can concentrate on your energy onto that, we may be able to hear you speak through it.
We'll introduce ourselves again. I'm Justin.
And I'm Paul.
Do you remember us being here last time, about 7 weeks ago? Can you show us a sign of some sort? A knot? Please just give us a response.
It's got a battery signal on it.
Oh. Is there a Harold in here?
Does the name Harold Purchase mean anything to you? And
We get 2 direct responses on the K2 meter regarding Harold Purchase. Let's watch again.
Is there a Harold in here?
does the name Harold Purchase mean anything to you? And
Does the name Harold Purchase mean anything to you? And bang.
Listen to the weird voices coming through the spirit box.
Does the name Harold Purchase mean anything to you? And bang. Is this you, Harold?
Harold, are you in here with us?
We understand you died, unfortunately, way too young in this hotel. Would you like to tell your story to us? Justin and I are here to find out more about this hotel and things that the staff members have been experiencing up here. Are you a part of that, Harold? Or Harry? Do you prefer Harry?
Some people that work here in the hotel are scared to come up here. Do you play tricks on them?
do you remember 2 doctors coming in to treat you?
We also know that you're buried in the Cheltenham Cemetery. Are you going to make your presence known to us? More than you have?
So give us something. Give us your name. Don't be gutless. Come out with it.
We don't want to play games, we want to talk to you.
You know you got some of the staff downstairs scared of you. You haven't got us scared.
What was that? That sounded weird. How many of you up here?
Can you give us a knock or something?
Come and stand in the doorway.
A male voice on the spirit box repeats the words, "Come and stand."
Come and stand in the doorway. Come and stand in the doorway.
Come and stand in the doorway.
Come and stand in the doorway.
Come and stand in the doorway.
Only seconds earlier, Justin asked, "Can you give us a knock or something?" Listen closely while we're still looking at the doorway.
Say it again, come to the doorway. That's where we heard you last time.
Say it again, come to the doorway. That's where we heard you last time.
Let's watch this sequence again.
Can you give us a knock or something?
Come and stand in the doorway.
First we get the man repeating, "Come and stand" on the spirit box. Then we get the 3 knocks that Justin asked for as I turn the infrared illuminator on.
Say it again, come to the doorway. That's where we heard you last time.
Is this the man we heard on the first night? And is it the man of the alleged suicide in the old bathroom? Could he possibly have responded to us to come and stand in the doorway and knock 3 times? This is also exactly where we heard the response on the first night.
You gonna come in here? Speak into this device in my hand. We know you've got the energy because we've heard you before. Now come and speak to us now. We'll make the lights on the table flash again. Can you make a knocking sound like this?
Strangely enough, I ask for the 3 knocks that occurred only moments ago. Let's hear them side by side. What makes this a bit strange is that we did not hear the knocks at the time, and they were only discovered in the video analysis. So when I asked for these 3 knocks, we were unaware that the first 3 actually occurred. This would have made for an extraordinary response if I had asked prior to the knocks, as both were identical.
Do you want to speak to Justin? Make the lights flash. Would you like to speak to me? This is Paul. Make the lights flash now. Oh my God. Would you like to... Was that a yes? You would like to speak to me, Paul? Was that a yes? You would like to speak to me, Paul? Was that a yes? You would like to speak to me, Paul?
Can you say either Justin or Paul?
Thank you for the response. Well, I would like to speak to you more. You have to show yourself. Show us some more signs. I turned it off. Would you like us to leave or stay here? Can you light up these lights if you'd like us to stay? Can you make them go to red, please? Would you like us to leave? Oh, I got a red.
Notice how only the K2 meter on the right flickers to red.
Would you like us to leave? Oh, I got a red.
When you have 2 EMF meters lined up like this, it can help you determine exactly where the interference is coming from. If this were a large-scale interference, both meters should light up, but it was only the right, and this happened earlier when I asked for confirmation and only the K2 closest to me flickered to red.
So you're not happy with us being here? We only want to verify from what the girls who work here say. They think someone's up here. We're just trying to help find out who. Would you like to help us find out? Is this your favourite room? Is that a yes? Thank you. Is this why we made contact with you in this room? Because it's your favourite room?
Again, we have responses on the K2 meters, where both seem to react at the same time, and then immediately after, only one seems to react. This shows that it is not a uniform or blanket effect affecting all instruments, but more of a dynamic one that is changing and shifting around us. If a spirit were to be moving around us and interacting with the instruments, it would make sense that they would react independently, and perhaps even at once if they were close enough. We can't prove that this is the case, but the timing of the reactions on the instruments in regards to the questions we are asking, I feel, is something more than just coincidence. In saying that, it is obvious that the baseline levels of EMF are above zero, and the K2 meters are showing a constant level of low readings. It is possible that there is electrical wiring underneath the floor that lead to fluorescent lights on the ground floor. And if this is the case, there might be some sort of natural variance in current or output of EMF. So what could be causing the abrupt changes we see after our questions? I propose that when you have a detectable electrical field or EMF field, and then another field interacts or intrudes onto that field, the reaction will be far greater or even volatile and will be easily detected by the instruments. I think this is why we are seeing a reaction from low level to high level instead of a reaction from zero to low level, because the low level field that we are already detecting is being jolted or bounced when it is interfered with from another field. Kind of like stretching out a rubber band and having someone cut it. It will have a volatile reaction, but if you cut it while it's not stretched, it won't do anything. These instruments are not proof of the paranormal. They only detect changes in the environment around us. Justin and I continue to sit here for roughly another half an hour, but we have no more responses, so we call it a night and head home. Tonight again showed that this room is very active and that someone is responding to us. For this fourth investigation, it would be just myself. I decided to come up alone and set up 7 cameras. I wanted to sit and monitor the rooms in the dark, listening and watching for anything unusual. I also wanted to walk around using an ultraviolet light source, which is what I'm doing here. This UV torch can enhance the capabilities of my full spectrum camera, so anything that may be hiding in the UV spectrum, particularly those with fluorescent properties, will be illuminated by this torch and picked up by the camera. All of the static night vision cameras you see positioned around work off infrared light. They are fantastic at seeing in the dark without having to use visible light like a torch. So let's see what happens as I walk around.
Is anybody here with me?
Okay, watch closely here to the left of the bath. As I move the torch away from the left edge of the bath, a light anomaly can be seen moving around from behind the door. Let's watch it slowed down and with the contrast adjusted. To the left of the bath, you see it's dark. The torch comes to the left edge of the bath and then moves away. Then a white anomaly moves from exactly behind the door as if to go around it and out. The tiles in this bathroom are reflective, and reflective surfaces can cause lens flaring and funny light anomalies in cameras. But the more I look at this one, the more it seems to be moving independently and from exactly around from behind the door, as if to go out the door. You can see it come into frame and then arc around the edge of the door and move towards the exit. If I was standing behind this open door and wanted to exit this bathroom, this is the exact path of motion I would have to take to do so. So I asked the question, are we looking at partially illuminated spiritual energy or ectoplasm? Did someone hide behind the door as I entered and then decide to sneak out? Or is it nothing more than just light play? I went to the footage of this night vision camera and pinpointed the moment I walked into the bathroom to see if I could find any light anomalies, and this is what I found. As you can see, a white orb jumps into frame from the wall of the bathroom. To my eye, it looks like it occurs a few seconds before what happened inside the bathroom, so I do a side-by-side comparison to see the times. I use the point where I walk past this camera as a starting point and reference for the time analysis of both cameras. The dark triangle shadow you see on the right on the night vision camera is actually caused by the camcorder's strap, which is slightly in the way of its infrared illuminator. So just there we see the white orb at 41 seconds. And then we see the mist-like anomaly at 47 seconds. Even though the orb is coming directly from the wall of the bathroom that I'm in, it happens 6 seconds too early to suggest that it may be linked to the one that's inside the bathroom. It is more than likely just a piece of dust zipping past the infrared light, although it does disappear too quickly. But for the mist-like anomaly inside the bathroom, I'm still fascinated with it, and I'm not convinced it's just light play, as it shows its own movement pattern, and UV light always brings out some interesting results when using a full spectrum camera.
If there's anyone here with me right now, can you give me a sign? Can you maybe make a tapping noise? Okay, they're voices. Voices from downstairs. Although, it was a female voice very close then.
I hear muffled distant voices, but also a close female or child voice.
If there's anyone here with me right now, can you give me a sign? Can you maybe make a tapping noise?
I don't know what this voice says, but it was definitely closer than the muffled voices, as you can hear.
Okay, they're voices. Voices from downstairs. Although, there was a female voice very close then.
I checked the night vision camera's audio to see if it was picked up.
Is anyone here with me right now? Can you give me a sign? You maybe make a tapping noise.
You can hear it faintly at that marker, which indicates it's closer to me than this camera, and possibly even in that same room. Let's have a look back at what we've captured in this bathroom area.
How long have you been here for?
The box is there for us to be able to hear you.
We now have 4 correlations to a child in this bathroom area. First, Paula sensed a boy, then we caught a boy's voice on audio and through the spirit box, now another childlike voice as an EVP in the second room. So is this young Harold Purchase?
Is somebody here with me now? Would you like to speak to me? Okay, this is the apparent suicide bathroom. This is total UV light at the moment. If I switch on one of these illuminators, that's infrared. That's UV, ultraviolet. Is there somebody here with me? Would you please talk to me? Okay, this apparently is the oldest part of the hotel. It's got the original fireplace. And my guess, this is where they would have operated on little Harold William Purchase. Are you here with me, Harold? Okay, that was the floorboards. Sounded like a scream. Harold, are you down here? If you're down here, Harold, can you give me a sign? Is the man we think with the name Robert here with me now? Robert, are you here with me now?
After finishing the UV walk around, I monitor the cameras for roughly 30 minutes, then decide to do some EVP sessions, one in the bathroom area and the other down in the end room of the accommodation wing. Okay, I'm going to do an EVP session in the bathroom area and down in the end room. Take the K2 and the millimeter, night vision, audio recorder. Okay, I'm down in the bathroom area. I'm going to do an EVP session. Millimeters base reading is 0 down here. It's funny because it's down here you get the weirdest, creepiest feelings, yet the instrument, obviously because we're further away from that power board, but we get the least amount of EMF. Anyway. Is there anybody down here with me? Can you come down here, please? Down to the bathroom. Just sitting itself. That was a generator just starting. Did someone commit suicide in this bathroom down here? The one with a bath in it. Would you like to come down here and talk to me? If you're upstairs with me, can you give me a sign? Can you walk past the door? Dog barking. Harold Purchase, are you here? Are you upstairs with me? If someone's here with me and wants to be heard, can you say yes really loud to me? Can you come down and sit with me?
Can you come and touch my foot? Is there a Robert here?
Everything seems to be quiet right now, and it's actually quite peaceful sitting here. I'm hearing nothing unusual or seeing nothing unusual through the viewfinder of my camera, and the Mel meter and K2 meter have not reacted at all.
Not really feeling anything. Although this bathroom part, definitely has the weirdest vibe to it. You get patches of dead silence, absolute dead silence. And then you'll hear cars go past or people downstairs. And it's just a contrast. Like there's moments you feel like you're away from everything. I mean, through this camera, that infrared light looks like it would be a torch and I can see everything, but only when I'm looking through this viewfinder. If I put it down and look ahead, all I can see is a little red light. I lift it back up and it looks like that. Sometimes when you get that lens flare, if the camera's stationary, you can use it as a shadow detector, because if something walks past, even with the slightest amount of mass, it will break that flare.
After hearing that voice respond to me earlier up here, I was hopeful I would capture more, but it wasn't to be, so I moved down to the end room of the accommodation wing.
Robert, are you here with me? Who's the man we caught on audio a few months back? Are you here now? Feel free to come down here. Come and sit on the couch next to me. Harold, are you here? Harold Purchase, Are you still in this building? It's me moving. Can you maybe come up and touch my hand? Is there somebody wandering around up here with me? Can you maybe come down to the end of this room? Come and sit down and talk to me. My name's Paul. I'd really like to communicate with you. I know you weren't ready to die that young, Harold. Would that be enough reason for you to stay here? Because you didn't know you died? I just heard a camera turn off. Have you decided to come down and talk to me? Are you turning off my cameras?
This camera did indeed turn itself off, but it seems it was just the battery going flat. As things seemed to be quiet and calm now, and I had no responses while sitting in the bathroom area or the end room of the accommodation wing, I decided to start packing up the cameras. I did have 3 additional cameras set up tonight, which didn't seem to pick up anything strange or unusual. One was in the old living room with the original fireplace that is now used as storage. A second was sitting on the end of the bathtub in the bathroom where I caught the white mist anomaly. And a third was in the old bathroom sitting on the bathtub also. This is the bathroom with the alleged suicide of the man. After packing up all the static night vision cameras and gathering my equipment together, there was one other experiment I tried, and that was with a high-powered strobing flashlight. Everything so far was shot with the aid of either infrared light or ultraviolet light, so I thought it can't hurt to try an experiment with visible light. I did one more walkthrough with this flashlight and my full spectrum camera, hoping that the rapid contrast between the high-powered light and the darkness would pick up something interesting, but it didn't seem to happen. This 4th investigation actually concludes this presentation. This project was actually only intended to be a 20 to 30 minute review of our investigations, but the more and more footage I viewed and analysed, the more I could see a story was developing and needed to be told. so it has evolved into this 2-hour style documentary you are now watching. We are not professionals, nor do we claim to be, as there is no such accreditation. Justin and I formed Beyond Boundaries Paranormal with the same interest and passion for the paranormal. Our aim from the outset was to explore the investigative side of things and help contribute to the field, and both personally further our understanding and answer some questions that we have wondered about for a long time. Justin and I were given the details of the Rosewater Hotel as a legitimate place where staff members were experiencing strange things that could be considered to be paranormal. So with the full cooperation of current manager Simon, and the help of psychic medium Paula and Justin's partner Kate, we were able to conduct these 4 investigations and then present an honest account of events that took place. Everything you have just witnessed unfolded in that exact sequence, and hopefully it translates into some interesting viewing, showing a group of investigators progressing through the entire process of trying to determine what is taking place in a location that has not been investigated before. We have permission to do further investigations in the future, and we will present any other evidence that we find. Thank you for watching this presentation.